Good morning to you and welcome to our Facebook Live this morning. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Jenny McCormack. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. If you're joining me for the first time, then do say hi and let me know that you're watching. I put a Facebook Live on Monday to Thursday in a normal week, and all of those videos get uplifted to YouTube. Morning, Catherine. Thanks for joining us. So you can catch my replays either on Facebook or YouTube, whichever you prefer. So you might be watching on one or the other, so welcome to you. If you have any questions about anything that I've shown you, then don't hesitate to ask, and I check those on a regular basis and I'll get back to you if you have any queries. All of the products I use are Stampin' Up products, and they can be purchased through my online store or by emailing me, as long as you're in the UK. So let's see what we're doing today. So this week I've decided to use the Hats Off stamp set, which you can see here, which features a baseball cap or a baseball style cap, very popular these days for all sorts of things. And then you've got a series of logos and things that you can add to the front, and some nice sentiments to go with it. Now it does have matching dies. This is the set of stamped images, and the dies will cut out each of these elements like so. So we've got this sort of pocket shaped one, and we've got the oval, and the dies also have stitching as well, so you can choose to cut them out with or without the stitching. Let me just lift this out of the way. So for example, this one here, you can just have the outline and then you have the stitching die separate. So you can choose to do with or without. The nice thing is you can do them both through at the same time. So we have these ones here, and we have a mini baseball cap, which is here, which also has all the detailed stitching. Not sure whether you can see that. And then we have some other little icon shapes. So we have a tree, a star, a lightning bolt, a fish, a bison, and as I say, the little baseball cap. This is the large die here, and that cuts and does the stitching all in one. Let me show you that. Hi, Jeanette. So this is this one here, and I've actually put two together here. So my base layer was my Pacific Point, and then I cut another one out in Daffodil Delight, and then just cut along the stitching line to put a different peak onto the cap. If I lift that up, hopefully you can see the stitching. I'm sorry about the bit of shadow. I've had to shut my blinds and my curtains because it's so bright outside, which I'm not complaining about, but it does mean I get a little bit of shadow here, so I do apologize. So you can do lots of combinations of colors, obviously, just by die cutting different colors, and I know a lot of baseball caps have different colored panels, so you could easily cut a base and then another color and then add these two pieces, or a different colour for the cap. Morning, Carol. Morning, Kerry. So there's so many different options for this. Let me show you the page it is in the catalogue. This is the UK catalogue. It's on page 47 if you need to look it up. And obviously this is the stamp set here. So the stamp set is £16, which is really good value for because you can use it for so many different things. And the bundle, which is the stamps and the dies, is $32.25. So I still think that's a really good priced bundle. Okay, right, let's move that out of the way and do some stamping. So as I say, these are the pieces. Now I would probably stamp these and then cut them out, and obviously you could stamp the logo or dad, for example, onto white and layer that on top. So I've just chosen to do those in Pacific Point, as that was the colour I had to hand yesterday. I've got a Pacific Point base card and some of our In Good Taste papers. I just thought that would be a really nice contrast. So I'm going to put that to one side. That's going to be my base card. And I'm going to stamp and cut out a baseball cap, I think, in Balmy Blue. So what I'm going to do is stamp it in Pacific Point on Balmy Blue and then add the die to cut it out, so you can see how it adds all the stitching and the detail. You can obviously put lots of different sentiments on the front of the cap, and it's quite good that this line is broken up, because you could use, for example, the Grandkid stamp set. And in fact, Chris, one of my lovely ladies from class and on Coffee and Card, added to an amazing grandson, I think, on one of hers, and obviously that will cut out really nicely. I know this is not the exact stamp, but you could get away with stamping Happy Birthday, for example, in this gap in the middle. I think that would work really well. Plus you could use our oval punches or other punches to put a sentiment onto the cap itself. So lots of different options. So I'm going to start by stamping the large baseball cap onto some Balmy Blue. Let's move these out of the way for the minute. Clear the deck slightly. So I am using the large block because it's just a bit too big. So this is an E. And as I said before, if you're watching me, just going to let that relax on my desk and then put the block onto it, so that you don't move the hat out of kilter, because otherwise when you come to die cut it, it may not fit exactly. So this is just a scrap piece of card that I'm going to use. Well, I say scrap, it's a piece of card. So I hope everybody's well. It's very hot here today. I hope it's been nice for you, Kerry, going into your spring. So I'm just going to put this up at the top, like so. And while I'm here, I'm actually just going to stamp another one, like so. And what I'm going to do with this one is cut it out, and then I'm going to use a blending brush to give it a little bit of an accent and make it look like it's a well used baseball cap. Okay, now I'm going to leave the top because I'm going to add something else separately. So let me just die cut that out. I've got my large machine here. It's a little bit big really for putting up here, but if I put it there, hopefully you'll see a little bit of it rather than nothing at all. Okay, oh good, the weather's been lovely for Kerry in Australia. Right, so here is the die, and it's got some little holes which makes it really useful. I'm just going to turn this on one side out of the shadow. So you can position this little bobble here, the little button that's at the top of the cap, and you can also position this corner, so it's quite nice in terms of lining up. And you can also see, just see the top and the bottom of that line. Just going to grab some masking tape, a bit of my magic tape, just to hold it in place. Take the glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. I'm actually going to put it through this way, but so I'm just checking I've got that lined up. I can see that, just going to put this straight across the middle, I think. I can see the little line for the centre. I've got the little button and I've got it lined up over there. That means I don't have to worry so much as I put it through. Okay. Try to do it without getting my arms in your way. Failing miserably. I'm just going to bring this back. Okay, let's move this out of the way for the minute. There we go. Lift that off. And there. If you can see the stitch markings either side, here and along the edge of the baseball cap itself. Let's put my glasses back on so I can see what you can see, like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my blue blending brush, a scrap of grid paper. I knew this would have plenty on it, so we used it last week. And what I'm going to do is just come in from the edges, give it a bit more of a weathered look. Now obviously you can use any colour card for this. You could use patterned paper as well, especially if you wanted a more of a girly baseball cap in pinks or floral. These baseball caps come in all sorts of colours and styles these days. You could do a white one for tennis, so there's all sorts of sporting related ones that you could do. And then I'm just going to put a little bit along this line here, like so, and then around the edges. And you could use a sponge dauber, you could use a sponge, okay, but the blending brush will do the job. So if you can see, if I compare that with this one here, what a difference that makes, both with the stitching and with the shading on it. If I just lift that up for you a little bit better, hopefully you can see the difference between the two. So it just gives it more of a realistic look to it. Let's add a little bit more around those edges, like so. Okay, so I'm going to add a centre panel. So I think what I'm going to do is stamp onto a piece of white card, maybe. Let's have a look. I mean, it'd be quite nice. You could do that and heat emboss it, couldn't you? Or we could put this one on. So there's lots of different variations. So I think I'm going to stamp onto a piece, sentiment onto a piece of white card. It does look more real, doesn't it, Kerry? So I have a scrap here, and let's see. To find the stamp set. I think I might do the Life is Great one. Something a little bit different. There's that one there. Oh yes, you can put initials on. You can put somebody's name, an age. You could put happy birthday. Anything where you've got, you know, it's obviously relatively small. I think our numbers and alphabet set of dies would work. Let's have a quick look. So you could, for example, do, I know there is a dad one. Let's do, Mum might be a little bit wide. Let's have a look. I think Mum will be too big. But my daughter's name is Jo. So you could easily take that out of the way before it gets stuck to the back and never seen again. You could add Jo onto there, like so. Try that one. There's zeros and there's O's. Oh, I think that is a 0, but never mind. So you can add that on. You could die cut that in Pacific Point and layer it up. So that would be quite effective as well, wouldn't it? So lots of variations. So you're quite right, Kerry. You could put names, you could put numbers, year, a year group, you know, if they're going back to school or whatever. Okay, so let's stamp this one, Life is Great, onto a piece of white card and cut it out. And also, if you had permission to use the logo, you could use the logo from somebody's company or football team or something like that. Obviously, you have to be a bit careful with permissions and things. So this is the Life is Great. So this one will cut out that text. You can see the edge of the die is just inset from there, so you have a little bit of a white edge. Now if I added the stitching will come just inside. So let me do 2 just in case, and I'll see if the stitching will work with that. So let's pop that one on. So I'll do one with the stitching first. Let's move these out of the way. I could use my mini machine, which is in the bottom of a bag. So we'll just have to put up with the big one for the minute. Okay, so let's use that bit of tape. So that is around the edge of my stamped image. I'm sorry because I know you can't see that. And I'm going to put the stitching in the middle. I'll show it to you when it's in position. Oops, there we go. Hope you can see that. You can't, can you? There we go. So I've got the outline and then I put the stitching in. The stitching should come inside of the blue line and obviously the die cut on the outside. Let's give it a go. And again, you don't need to wind it back. I'm just doing it because of my limited space. that out of the way. Let me bring this up on there. So I'm hoping you can see. It's die cut around the edge, and we've got the line and then the stitching on the inside. So really quite detailed. Okay, you could do it without the stitching if you want to, but I think the stitching just adds that element of realism, doesn't it? So that can go onto there like so. And the question is, I think I will add a little bit of ink to that as well. There's only a little bit on here, but it will just do those edges. Like so. Good morning, Linda. There we go. So just using my blending brush to brush those edges in, just to soften it and also make it look a bit more in keeping with our withered baseball cap. There we go. So as you can see, Linda, we're using the Hats Off stamp set and matching dies, and I've stamped in Pacific Point onto Balmy Blue card. I put it through the die cutting machine with the die that does the cutting and all the stitching. You can see that. And then I've used a blending brush to come in around the edges. And then I've stamped our little logo here. It says "Life is Great." Right, I'm going to undo these before I lose those altogether. Like so. And you could, there's all sorts of things you could do with this. So you could heat emboss white, for example, onto a colour. Okay, let's have a look what we've got here. So there's my Balmy Pacific Point background, and I've got this. I think what I might do is stamp something in the background. I will also do a little bit of using the blending brush. This is the one we did yesterday, just stamping the hats all the way over. So, and you could put this, you could do a couple of these, couldn't you, easily? I know this isn't the right one there, but you could have a couple of hats like that. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? If you had two sporting fanatics in a family, you could do a Mr. and Mrs. baseball cap, couldn't you? All sorts of combinations for this. So I think I'm going to stamp something in the background. Let me just fold this to make sure this piece of paper is going to fit my card. It's only a piece I found in my tray, so it might not be. Oh no, it's spot on. Okay, so let's bring our blending brush back in and just weather this one as well. I don't know if I've got enough on here, if I need to add some. Probably got enough. It's amazing how much ink stays on the brush, and this has been used quite a lot over the last couple of weeks in our classes and coffee and cards, so that's why. So just bringing this round, and I'm just wondering what I'm going to put in the background for this one with my stamp. Dun, dun, dun. do happy birthday or something. Now, I'll tell you what I do like in this set. It's this tiny little, this mini baseball cap. Just this one here. And that would be really cute to put in the background. And I've got an idea for that I'm going to try out later. And hopefully show you tomorrow. Okay. So I'm literally just using the ink that's left on here. There we go. That's it. Can do that at a jaunty angle and a sentiment in here, I think. So I'm just going to keep it fairly simple, this one. So shall I could put a nice happy birthday message in here. I've got this one here, but actually that's quite small. I was thinking that would look good on the cap because that would really fit in there, wouldn't it? So let me grab a larger happy birthday sentiment. Do this one. Hope your day is fantabulistic. Well, hope this card makes you smile. Let's have a look and see what it looks like. I haven't used this set yet, so just looking at the size, really. Just a little bit small. I just want it a little bit bigger. Sorry, ladies. So I could put hello. That's a nice bold one, or birthday. Great minds think alike, Kerry. I could do happy birthday, that combination, I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. Oh, there's my little happy. That would work. Or hello. Yes, I know, it's funny because there's a delay between your posting and me bringing the things to the table. I literally brought it out as I saw your post, but obviously there's a delay in my video compared to you. That's so funny. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. Happy birthday like that. So I'm going to stamp it in Pacific Point onto there, so we just keep all of that colour the same. That's so funny. Okay. Just want to stamp this onto here. I haven't got a matte underneath. I'm sure it will be fine. Just wondering. Just looks a bit tight that way around, doesn't it? So I'm just going to bring this right down to the bottom. Like so. that's it. And I use the little happy. Yep, that's fine. Do need a bit of a white one, I've got a hair on there. There we go. Just going to bring that right the way over. There we go. Like so. Okay, I'm happy with that, so let's layer this up together. So a really good fun stamp set that I think you could use, especially if you've got children, grandchildren, adults that do sports or follow football teams or golf, I mean any sports really, as I say, tennis and things like that. So I'm going to pop this one up on dimensionals. I can't quite decide whether to put the little sentiment up just or keep it flat. Might pop it up on dimensionals as well. So just pop these on the back. Like so. Go. I just want to look at the angle of that. I don't think it really matters. Actually, that fits in there quite nicely, doesn't it? Brings it all in together. Go on the top. And with this set, you've also got little stars, so I think that would make a nice addition to the backgrounds. That's what I did yesterday. And this one here, I added the stars in the background. So just pop this in here. There we go. I'm happy with that. Let's grab a piece of white card for the inside. Let's have a look. Perfect. And I could put this little baseball cap on the inside too. And I know it's not quite the right colour, but that. Go. Let's pop him in. That's a very cute little cap, isn't it? I'm going to put it flat as it's on the inside. I don't want it to lift up the front of the card. And just be careful not to put glue on the stitching itself, otherwise it could potentially seep through. Like so. There we go. What do you reckon? I think it will do nicely. Now I didn't put a bit of glue on this tip, so I'm just going to add a little bit. And if you find that happens to you and something's sticking up a little bit, just don't try and lift it up and put glue underneath. Just put a little bit of glue on a piece of paper. This is actually from a stamp, but it really doesn't matter. And then just lift it up underneath. and that will apply the tiniest bit of glue onto your layer. Okay, but if you try and lift it and bend it, you can bend it out of shape. So there we go. That is our finished card. Now, quite tempted to have a go at mixing and matching some of the colours, if you'd like to see that. So you make multiple coloured hats. Let's see if I can find my sample. I'd love some ideas of colours to put together. Here we go. So this is one here, but you could literally cut any of these panels out so that you could have, you know, the back of the hat blue and the front of the hat purple, or yellow and purple. So if you'd like to see that, let me know, and I'll cut a few and we'll just have a quick play. Okay, that's a thumbs up from everybody. Right, let me move these other bits out of the way. So suggested colours, I'm trying to think of school colours or something like that. Let's put that one up there. And what I'll do is I'll just cut out literally 3 or 4 hats in different colours, and then we'll just have a play. So what I tend to do when I'm doing something like that is keep one for the base and then layer the other colours on top, rather than cutting them and then fitting them back together. It's a much smoother edge. So let me just grab some scraps of card. Let's see what I've got in my little scraps piece. And obviously you could use designer paper, perhaps I'll do one with some designer paper as well. Is that big enough? Yep, it is. Let's grab some designer paper to use. Quite nice with some yellow, wouldn't it? You could have a Christmas baseball cap. Okay, thank you, Jeanette. You enjoy the rest of your day. That would be quite nice too. I mean, there's lots of variations, aren't there? So let me just die cut some of these. I might try die cutting a few at the same time. So obviously I've only got the one die, so let's do 2 lots of the paper. Sorry, let's put you back. Do 2 lots of the papers together. So, make sure that's in. As I say, normally you'd only need to do it once through, but because I'm tight for space, I don't want to push it through and then knock everything else flying. Oh, that's a bit of fun, isn't it? Try. Put the smaller one on top, and then I can see if it's going to cut that out, which it is. Okay. There's that one. So let's cut those out perfectly. So it's really easy to do 2 at the same time. Obviously the stitching is very slightly lighter on the other one, but I don't think it's critical at all. That it away, and let's do this one, like so, and then we can just have a bit of fun mixing and matching. This would be good for the UPS man. If I use the UPS logo, which is yellow, isn't it? But you could also cut out the letters UPS. That would be good fun. And let me grab a couple of others. Again, put the smaller piece on, and I always just offset it so I can see where the edge is, because if I covered this up and turned it, oh, you can see that, yeah, I would actually cut off the edge. So I always just give a little bit of a border so I can see both layers when I'm cutting, like so. And you could also stamp on these, so you could put the stars on, you could stamp flowers on, really lots of combinations. Oh, that's a good idea, Kerry. So Kerry says the bedazzling paper, which is our celebration paper. This one. Now normally, if you're cutting into glitter paper or anything that's really, anything with a sharp sort of edge, I would recommend you turn it over and cut it that way. Obviously, if we do that, it's going to be on the wrong side and we'll have a white cap with this on the reverse. So in this instance, obviously I'm just going to put it straight on that way. So if it was a flower or something that didn't matter, then I would recommend turning it the other way. It just prolongs your blade either in your punch or on your dies. Woohoo! I'm going to do another one of those. Thank you, Kerry, that's a great idea. So you could use that just for the rim or the back. Okay, I think we've got probably enough just to play with for now. There we go. Right, let's see what we can make. So that's I rather like that, just in its own right, I have to say. Okay, these go quite well together, don't they? So I've already done this one where I've cut the peak, so I'm going to leave that as a sample there. But what we could do for this one is cut this piece, and so just the back and the this edge here is the same. So let's just take a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to cut along the stitching line. Like so. Because the stitching line will be the same on all of them, and you can decide how much of this panel you want. So let's do it along here for this one. to there. Oh, there it is. That's the one I was using, wasn't it? So that is one option. You could also trying to think if you did that and that. Let's have a look and see. Oh no, that was the wrong one, wasn't it? That doesn't look right, does it? Okay, let me just try a few things. This is one where you've got alternative colours, or there's that one. Let's try the rim of this as well. So I'm going to cut this across the back here. You definitely can't see the stitching on the metallic side, that's for sure. That'd be quite fun, wouldn't it? On any of these. Probably a bit much on this one. Okay. I can't decide. I quite like that on its own, but I can't quite decide if I need something with it like that, or just, morning Marianne, could do this just with the pink I'll have to start looking at baseball caps now. See what they look like. Try that on there. That one works quite nicely, doesn't it? So let's do that one. Lovely to see you on Saturday, Marion. So again, I'm just adding the glue. I'm going to put a little bit on there, but avoiding the stitching. So this is actual purple posy card. Like so. So that's quite fun. That's one. And I think if you cut that off altogether, that could almost be a riding hat or a jockey cap, couldn't it? If you cut straight across there. So like that effectively is the shape of a riding hat. So you could do that in black. That would look really nice. Okay, what else have we got that we can put together? I really want to do one with a panel in here. See what that looks like. I've just used the front of that one, haven't I? So I've got 1, 2, 3 panels. I'm being really indecisive now. Sorry. Okay. I wonder if I add 2 floral panels to that one. Let's try it and see. So one, and two. It's like those days of dressing up dolls, isn't it? Morning, Claire. I'm just wondering actually whether that needs that little bit in as well. So hard to decide. You could also, I think, bring this down a little bit so it's got like a 3D effect underneath. Couldn't it, like that? I just don't feel it's got enough in it, if that makes any sense. I know the panels are alternate colours, aren't they? They just, maybe it's just the colours I've chosen. Right, come on Jenny, get your act together. So maybe if I do these on the two inside stitch lines. One. Let's try this one here. It's coming off. Right. There we go. Let's cut this. That's better, isn't it? And I wonder if I can cut along this edge to get just the edge there. Too many, let's do it in the middle line. I need to start looking at baseball caps now, don't I? Like that. That's better, isn't it? Do we think? Let's stick it down and have a look. So a scribble of glue. Like so. Put this one on. That's better, isn't it? Oops. Then you get the effect of the 3 panels, and you could still put your cut out sentiment across the top, couldn't you? That would still definitely work. Okay, so we've got that one, that one. I definitely need to use some of this, don't we? The only problem is you lose a bit of the definition of the dotted lines, obviously with the glitter. I think it needs something else behind, but I don't know what. Might need to work on that one. This is definitely a good UPS one, isn't it? If you had the UPS logo. I wonder if UPS will fit on here. Anybody see a U? That is. P. Yes. Oh yes. Gonna have a go at that, aren't I? Because they're sort of blue and yellow, aren't they? Yellow, orange, yellowish. So let's cut those out. And what I'll do is, you could either cut out multiples of these and stack them up. You could put them onto a foam sheet, or you could just literally put them with a backing sheet. I wonder if, I don't think this is big enough. No, not in a million years. Okay, let me grab some yellow card and cut that out. That'll do. So what I'll do is just put a bit of foam sheet behind it. Obviously cut a tag out of there, haven't I? A little bit of self-adhesive sheetrock. So let's just cut a little bit of this. Like that. Peel the backing off. I couldn't find it. I've obviously cut in between the lines, haven't I? There we go. So sticking that on the reverse, and then I can cut UPS out of this. So right. Just do this off camera, I don't need to do this on the screen. Find my plate. Sorry ladies. There it is. That's the only problem with the clear plates is you can't see them. So I'm just die cutting the UPS so I can stick that onto the soft suede hat. And for those of you that don't know, UPS are our couriers for Stampin' Up in the UK. Okay. Need a fine point to point through there. So because I put the backing on, these will be nice and sticky when I remove the sheet. So you don't need any extra glue. Okay, so I'm going to put the P in the middle. Peel the backing off. There we go. I'm lining it up with the base here, but you could put it more centrally if you wanted to. Let's see if I can get the edge off. Come on. You will. Got it. Then my U. Obviously, if you had permission to use the logo, you could print that and cut it out, but this is a good way around that, for sure. There we are. Yes. So we've got some variations, haven't we? Finally. So that one I'd already done. So I've got this one here with the floral. Got this one here. And the UPS one, and I could add that one onto there with that panel in the middle, maybe. Just try that, and then we're done. See whether this one works. I'm going to cut this obviously from the back, so I can't see the stitching on the inside. Like so. See what that looks like. There we go. Sort of works, doesn't it? It sort of works. Or should I just have a glitter top, glitter front, and then put a logo on? Perhaps I'll do that. Okay, that's enough playing for the minute. So here was our card that I made. So I hope you like that. And here are some variations on our baseball caps. So if you're doing that, keep all the little bits and pieces, because then you can put other combinations together later on. Don't lose your UPS. There it is. So there we are. So I hope you've enjoyed our session this morning. So I have got another idea for tomorrow. which I'm working on, so I hope that's going to work, and I've also got another idea which I'm going to try in the meantime. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day if you're watching in the morning or early afternoon, and obviously if you're watching in the evening, then have a good evening, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. So that will be Thursday at 7 p.m. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for watching this afternoon, or this morning even. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye for now.